All right. Good evening, everyone. I got my guest over here, Gibran Backus, and it's an honor to have you here, man. How are you?
Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm doing pretty well actually. It's a great night. Orlando, you can never complain.
Exactly,
Florida, the
exactly.
whole
What's the
West
weather
Coast.
like anyway? I'm using my phone to record, so I don't know. What's the weather
It's
like?
beautiful.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a cold spell earlier on the last weekend or the weekend before,
Yeah.
but the weather now is just
Yeah.
fantastic, man. You
I
can
hear.
just
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want, and I always give it 100. Don't
let's,
need a
let's get to the
bank.
point here, right? So a lot of times we're testing out this kind of podcast or the radio station. So let's talk business here. What kind of advice would you give someone who is just coming out and they got a couple cash and they want to invest in this world? What's your advice overall based on what you're going through?
so based on my own personal experience, I can say that if you have readily cash available,
Yeah.
you can't go wrong with real estate. Obviously, right now, current times, the market is a little rough when it comes to buyers. It's still,
Right.
more in tune with the seller's
Right.
market. However, if you want to say, for example, buy an apartment or buy a condo as your first rental unit, can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, real estate is always an appreciating asset.
Right.
So you're
right.
always going to make a profit, regardless. And from like back in the early time, real estate has always been an up and down flow.
Yep.
Some years the market will be up, some years the market will go down. Obviously, I don't believe that we will see something again like back in 2008,
Right.
where the market severely crashed. Housing prices went down considerably.
Yep.
I don't
Yep.
see that happening again. Uh, you know, Personally, I feel that the world on a whole is in a slight recession.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
We're seeing inflated prices on a lot of different products.
Right.
Not to mention, gas prices. However, I don't see the housing market prices, especially here in Florida, because we have so many investors coming in from up north and from Canada. I don't see the prices going down that much.
Right.
It will level off. What the price point will be, I'm not sure. But like I said, at the end of the day, regardless, it levels off. Eventually, the prices will go back up
Gotcha.
because
Gotcha.
appreciating asset, meaning that asset that you have, real estate, will continuously to grow in value and profit. So that's one
So
aspect.
so let me put it this way for you, man. You've gone through a lot of years, right? I mean, every day is always a learning experience.
It really is.
You and I think we're at an age where we've seen a lot of things when we were young, and now we're at that point where we're grounding ourselves.
Yeah.
Um, for someone who's actually going to be watching this, it could be this is just a test, but it doesn't matter. If someone is watching this who's there in their early 20s, what would be the best advice you would give them since you kind of gone through all of these phases?
First off, I would say whatever accounts you have, and most 20-year-olds or most people in their 20s has a checking account, they have a savings account. My recommendation is whatever job you have, you a la carte to where you save at least 25% of your check.
Yeah.
Every time you get paid, you put aside that minimum 25%. If you can save more, great.
Right.
But you put that aside, you put it in your savings. Now, a lot of places are offering high yield savings.
Yeah.
I would recommend investing in one of those type of accounts, because if you save your money in a traditional savings account, you're not going to make any money, no interest off of that money,
Right.
regardless how much you have in there.
Right.
And
Right.
if you get into a high yield savings account that's giving you like a 3% or 4% interest back,
Yep.
you'll see that money come back in interest each month. So that's one thing you can do. And you always want to save for the future. Now, I know, listen, guys, I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not as old as I look. I'm not as young as I look. But I can tell you,
Yep.
in your 20s, all you care about is, partying, have a good time, hanging with the fellas, hanging
Yes,
with
sir.
the crew,
Popping bottles.
popping bottles, and just having a good time. But,
Yep. Yep.
the future creeps up pretty quick. All right. And I can tell you that the best thing you can do for your future is to put aside some money and just let that accumulate.
Right.
Think of it as a nest egg that you're building to buy your first home, buy your first apartment, buy your first condo,
Right.
your townhome, whatever the case may be. That is something that, that is something that when you buy your first property, there's nothing like buying something with your own hard-earned money as opposed to somebody giving it to you.
Right. Right.
There's something intrinsic and inherent in that value when you buy your first
It's a
piece.
trophy, man. It's a nice
It's a
trophy to
It's a trophy,
keep.
and nobody can take that away from you.
Right. You can brag about it your whole life.
Exactly.
I remember when I first got my house, man. I was in my 20s. Till this day, I brag about it. I'm like, well, at least I got a first house, But I hear you. So let me ask you this then. With all these investments, walk us through kind of the lifespan that you've gone through in regard to, because there's a lot of people right now watching this. They're thinking, well, I don't have anything, and I think life is shit, and it's the end of the world for me. Give us an explanation of like it's not the end of the world, right? You've gone through a lot, and kind of give us a little quick preview of what you've gone through and where you at now.
I mean, look, that saying that, not everybody knows what they want to become when they go to school. You growing up, right? You could be 10 years old, you could be a young teenager. You want to be an astronaut. You want to be a pilot,
Yeah.
in the military or a commercial pilot, you want to be an architect,
I want to be a doctor. I
right,
want
you wanna be
to
a doctor. You
I
want
wanna
to
make a lot of money.
Right. When you get out of high school or whatever the case may be, it's gonna like, all right, I need a job that I'll be making bank.
right.
And
Reality hits.
and it's like a lot of times you don't get your dream job right off the bat.
100%.
You got to
100%.
settle.
Yep.
And it's something to where you have to tell yourself, and it's kind of like throwing it out in the universe, you got to tell yourself like, all right, I may be in this position now, but give me a year.
Yeah.
Give me 2 years. Give me 3 years. There's a lot of inspirational speakers that I started listening to in the past few years. And one of them that I really enjoy listening to is Matthew McConaughey. And I know all you cats out there know who Matthew McConaughey is.
All right.
All right. And he gave a speech. And a lot of people, when he was giving his speech, he was like, obviously everybody has a hero, somebody, a mentor, a father figure, some type of figure that they look up to and aspire to become, right?
Right.
And he was like, my hero is myself 10 years in the future. And when I reach that stage, my hero is again myself 10 years in the future. And it's something that allows you, if you have that mindset, it allows you to push yourself. Yes, the struggle is there. As we like to say, the struggle is real, right?
Yeah.
But it allows you to push yourself, and you have a vision of what you want to become. And I'll tell you right now, no matter what obstacles come in your way, no matter how far down you think you've fallen, you can always get back up.
Yeah.
And you can always rise to the occasion and rise to that goal that you set yourself for.
Let me put it this way. So what have you gone through that you felt like it was the end, but then you got to break through?
All right. This is going to be, we're getting a little personal now. So
Just get it to the point. It doesn't have to be, a lot of information, but just, everyone's going through it, right? We all
everybody's
hit
going
rock
through it, right?
bottom.
Yeah. So I hit rock bottom. All right. Going through college, I didn't really know what I wanted to become. Right. Oh yeah.
Yep.
I at one point I wanted to be IT professional.
Right.
Then when I was studying for that, 9/11 happened, and it was like, okay, I was
Damn.
told by the college I was going to that, hey, listen, there are no jobs out there right now for IT professionals.
Damn.
And so I was like, all right, I got to.
This is something out of our control at this point. You can't even.
Right.
Damn. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, what's the next best thing? Okay, let me be an engineer.
Yep.
Well, engineering is a fantastic field if you can get past all the math.
If you can get past, yeah.
You know,
I hear you. I hear you
my,
loud and clear. Yep.
my breaking point was Calc 2. I got as far as Calculus 2, and I was like,
Yep,
man,
yep.
this is not for me.
Yep.
You know, and sometimes you have to go through that trial and error because you don't know until you actually try to pursue it.
It's
If
not about the money,
something-
right? I think this is the bad misconception that we all get is that we go to school looking at what is the highest paying job,
Right.
and then we try to aim for it.
Try to
and then
aim
we
for it.
realize either love it or hate it, man. It's not about the
Exactly.
money.
Right.
And matter of fact, I actually have a lot of friends that pursued a certain major for the money, and they actually graduated. However, they quit their job right away because they realized this is not something that they want.
Yeah.
So that's something that a lot of people need to understand, that it's not
Exactly.
about the money. Obviously, you want to, don't go to, I don't want to insult anybody here, but you don't want to go to liberal arts
Right.
unless you're passionate about it. Right?
Exactly.
You got to pick a major that you know that you're going to create
Right. Or
some form of
hospitality,
stability.
for example.
Yes,
Right.
yes, right.
You know.
But in reality, though, don't pick a job that you think because it's the highest paying. But if you're not into it, you're not going to survive. I'll give you an
Exactly.
example. Programming. That's the highest paying job right now. Software engineer. But you and I can do it if we need to. But
Right.
do we really going to enjoy looking at that
Nope.
damn code? Not really. So we'll stick with real estate.
Right.
Yep.
But
When did you have a breakthrough? When did you feel like you realized, you know what, this is not working out for me? When did you have a breakthrough?
it's when I pursued medical and tried to become a nurse.
Yep.
And I was 1 year away from graduating. And
So you went from IT to nursing,
I went from IT to engineering to nursing.
engineering to nursing.
Yeah.
Look at that. All right, all right.
Complete 180, guys.
Yeah.
Engineering has nothing to do with nursing unless you're talking about
Got to make a
tubes,
living.
right?
You got to
Gotta
make a living, man.
But yeah, I 1 year from graduating, and I realized that I can't do this. Now I had a lot of instructors that told me, listen, you have a lot of empathy for your patients. All your patients. When I was doing my clinicals, all my patients loved me.
Yeah.
The best aspect out of nursing for me, because I was trying to become first an RN, and then I was going to become a nurse anesthetist, right? Which are those people that, you go into the hospital for major operation, they're the ones that put you to sleep and make sure that your vitals don't dip dangerously, right?
Right.
So that was the plan. But I realized after I did certain courses, particularly pediatrics, that I couldn't see myself going to the hospital and seeing all these children connected to all different types of tubes
Right.
and
right.
hooked up to all these different needles. It really hit me, and I realized that I don't think I can do this. And talking to some of my friends that were in the program with me, they got burned out quick. And just to give you an idea, if any of you are interested in going into medical, beautiful field. You're helping your fellow man, your fellow woman, but depending upon how strong your heart is, there's a lot of heartache, right?
I believe it. I believe it.
And during my time,
How many years have you done? You did because there's a 2-year program, and then
I
there's
was
a
doing the 4-year
4-year.
program.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did 3 years, 3 years of clinicals, and 3 years of studying.
When did you realize that this is not something that you want to do? When did you pull the plug?
It was in my final year. I just
Wow.
for me,
so,
like a
so
part
you
of
went
me
through
hit
the first, second,
and
third,
third year.
and
Yeah,
I'm,
it was my final year, my 4th year, and I realized it just kind of I just realized that it wasn't for me.
right.
That
Right.
and I at the time the school that I was going to was a very hard school, and they had a 3-strike rule policy, and I was on my 3rd strike. And strikes can be you got to retake a class. That's considered a strike. I ended up having to retake 2 classes, so I was on my 3rd strike, and
And
you
this
know,
is not including the background of finance, where
Right.
there's money on the line. There's no refund.
there's there's no refund. Yeah, listen. At the end of the day, and I'm not knocking colleges or universities. Obviously, they are learning institutions,
Right.
but they are, and they have become money-making institutions.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
Sad truth.
It's
It's a sad truth.
It's a sad
It's,
truth. Unfortunately, there are a lot of students
Yep.
that graduate from colleges and universities and they can't get a job with their degree.
Right.
But all that money that you spent, whether it was through grants or whether it was through loans, you're not responsible for grants, but when it comes through loans, you are responsible for that.
Yeah.
And, at the end of the day, you got to pay back Uncle Sam,
Yeah.
or whatever
yeah.
company, whether it's Sally Mae
Can't mess
or
with
whoever,
Uncle Sam. Yeah,
sent you,
for sure.
loaned
Yep.
you that money.
So what happened after all of that?
After all of that, I hit rock bottom, and all you guys are familiar with Best Buy. So while I was trying to figure out what the hell to do with my life, I started working at Best Buy, and then
and just to kind of make sure we're all on the same page, right? So you went from doing IT, so you
right,
try to go into engineering, and then you went to nursing. Not
Yeah.
only you could have graduated the 2 year, right? You committed to the 4 year, but then you realized the fourth year, this is not what
Right.
you need. So you could have easily taken that out, but then you pulled out, and
Yeah.
now you're going back to Best Buy. So,
Right.
so this is an interesting story that a lot of
Yeah.
people need to know. So you basically had to restart.
yes, I
So-
just restarted from
yeah.
ground zero. And while I was working at Best Buy, I started going back to UCF for finance, and I realized that I actually enjoyed finance. Not so much accounting. That's a whole
Right.
other beast. But I enjoyed finance, especially dealing with being like a project manager, basically running a team and running projects,
Yeah.
and finished finance and ended up getting a job in the corporate world. And from there, I moved up. And it was literally through, now mind you, I had no previous experience in finance, unless you count ringing up people when I was used to work
Yeah.
retail. Other than that, I had no experience in finance. I had no experience in project management. So, yeah.
So you're at Best Buy right now, and you're getting introduced to this financial world. So when was that breakthrough that you realized, okay, I'm gonna get into
Project
spoiler
management.
alert, right? Project management and in the banking industry.
Right. Which is otherwise known as the fintech, right? Financial technology industry. I realized that after, I'd say within my first year. So I started off working at SunTrust as a contractor, and they hired me on full time. And I started off first as a business analyst, and then moved on to team lead, and then from there, project manager. And it just goes to show you that sometimes you're not able to do immediately what you want to do. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a very small percentage of people in the world that are able to do the jobs that they wanted to do their entire life.
Yep.
For example, say a hobby. You enjoy a hobby and you're actually able to make a living off of that and
Yeah,
actually
that's-
enjoy your work. There's a very small percentage of people that are able to do that.
100%.
The rest of us, we got to settle for what's
What's out there?
out there and what's
Survival.
what's the next best option.
Survival mode, man.
Survival mode, you
I've
know?
been living that day one.
Exactly. So if someone was to ask me, do you enjoy your job? Yes, I
Yep.
do. Is this the job that you wanted to do all your life? My answer would be no. It's not the job I wanted to do. Believe it or not, and it's still a vision and a dream that I want to accomplish, is that I want to be an established author.
Look at that. That's been the day
That-
one dream.
That is my hobby, and that is my dream goal job, being an author.
Have you start looking into that? Like
Well, I have a couple stories that I started, but when you're young,
it's never too late, right?
it's never too late.
It's never
Right,
too late.
It's never too
So,
late. At the end of the day, that saying that you can never teach a dog new tricks. Well, actually, you can. We never stop learning until the day we're no longer here, right?
Yep.
So our brain is a fantastic piece of machinery.
Yep. Well, Gib, listen, we're knocking out almost about 18 minutes, 20
Yeah, well,
minutes,
20
according
minutes,
to this.
yeah.
So, but so long story short, basically, the life of the beauty about this world is we're always going to have a peak and we're going to hit rock bottom,
Right.
but you're always going to come back to life.
Exactly.
So really the advice for a lot of people is
Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up. You know.
A door closes,
Exactly.
5 doors open up, basically.
Right. Life is all about experience. Okay.
Yep.
And sometimes we have to take the longer road to get to where we want to be in life.
Yep.
Sometimes we have to, take a break. Like
Yep.
I just said it. I'm not an established author yet.
Yep.
That's my end goal as far as my dream job, but I haven't given up on it.
And check this out. I don't want to, I hate to put your personal success out there, but I want to let people know because this is a great story, and this is why I want to put this on there. Is we're talking about someone that wanted to go to all form of education and decided this is not working out. Then you decided to do nursing and it didn't work out.
Right.
Then you start working at Best Buy, right? And we're not going to go at how much you were making an hour, but long story short, all of that put aside. Now we're talking to an individual who is literally customizing his new house as
Yeah.
we speak. I'm not going to give the figure because it's a big one.
Yeah.
But then driving a luxurious vehicle.
Yeah.
Right,
Love
so-
my Mercedes.
There you go. I don't want to mention the brand, but you get the idea. What I'm saying is that sometimes you do hit that rock bottom, but the beauty about life is we should not give up and just continue on.
Yeah.
So before I end this recording, what would be the last statement you want to give out to anyone who feels like they're hopeless?
There's always a silver lining. I said it before, don't give up. And if you're at that stage where you know that you hit rock bottom, the next day will always be a better day.
Yes, sir.
Think of it this way. If you're able to wake up the next day, you're able to take that first breath of fresh air, and you've got all your faculties, your limbs are working and everything, you can still achieve your dreams. You can still achieve your goals.
Yeah.
You just, you can't give up, and when an opportunity presents itself, don't be afraid to take that leap.
100%. Listen, I saw a video the other day where the guy said, I wish I knew who it was, but he said, when you wake up in the morning and stand on your 2 feet, just say thank you.
Yeah.
Because you actually woke up.
Exactly.
It's no guaranteed nowadays, man. You go to sleep, you don't know if you're going to wake up.
That's right.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gents, we're going to cut it short. Gib, thank you so much for this interview.
course.
And more
Thank
to
you for
come,
having
man.
me.
As
Yeah.
always, we're going to make it more happen, man.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
appreciate it, brother.
Of course.